Good morning,
Good morning,
everyone.
everybody.
Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Please let us know if you're hearing us and seeing us clearly. We are the Sawyers.
Hello, 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 hello.
We are the Sawyers, and this is Cornerstone. Cornerstone. And I hope you're doing well this morning. All of you guys, I hope you're doing well this morning. We're doing pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah,
Doing pretty good. Yeah, we're doing pretty good today. Yeah. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's here. Let's see. Now James Dixon tunes in early. 7:30 this morning. He had
good
already.
gracious.
I know he's not sitting there waiting for us, though. I know he's not sitting there waiting. Hello, James D. Hey, sissy and brother-in-law. Enjoyed you, sissy, all this week. And there's Sinette from Denmark. Hey, hey,
Yeah.
how you doing? She says sunny spring Denmark. Spring Denmark. So it's looking pretty. I get a bunch of pretty flowers and stuff. Good morning, Sandra. Good
Good
morning,
morning,
Pearl Pearl.
Miss Pearl.
Pearl, tell Chris Cassey he called us and I somehow erased his number, couldn't return his call. Please let him know that we got his call and that we would love to talk to him to call us back. Okay. Hello there, Dee Dee and George. Happy birthday, belated birthday, George. And then there's Vern. Hey, Vernie.
Mary Laverne.
Mary Laverne.
Yeah, Mary Laverne.
That's Mary Laverne. And then John Greason's in the house. He says,
Grayson.
thank you, John. He says, thank you. Yeah, thank you, pastors, for being who you are. Love your dedication for us. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there's Kim. Kim's got a good report. She got a good report. They said that wasn't cancer. She still got some challenges, but not that.
Not that.
Thank God. Thank God. Everybody say yes, 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 yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hello, Pastor Norman.
Norman J. Hickball.
Pastor Norman down there in Moncks Corner, South
Brother
Carolina.
Blue.
And then
I'm
there's
looking at you. I see you, Brother Blue.
Hey, Bro Blue and family. Noelle, hi, sweetie. You are aunt now. I found out you are an aunt.
Who?
Noelle is an aunt because they just had a
Oh,
new baby come in. Olivia had a baby. I think that was Olivia I saw that your mom sent me. Yeah, it was a big baby too. 9 pounds and something. Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's see who else is here right quick. Thank you, Kim, for letting us know. You can hear us. Hey, Brother Kay.
Mr.
Brother
K.
Kay.
Miss Judy Hill.
She says she can't see us. Pearl can't see us. Can anybody else not see us? Wonder why. Let us know. Please let us know. Kim says she can hear and see us. Okay, so Pearl, something's going on your end, evidently, babe. Hope it help you figure it out. Hey, Judy Jew.
Miss Judy.
Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning to you. Hey, Marvita. That's Pastor Hill's daughter.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
Marvita.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Good to have you here, sweetie pie. Dee Dee says she can't see us either. Really? Well, how is it that?
Y'all done drunk too much moonshine last night.
How is it that Kim can see us and you guys can't? What is that? Wow, you guys, let me know if there's anybody else that can't
Miss Gwen,
see us.
Miss Pearl, let's see.
They're responding to what I said about Kim. Let me know if anybody else can't see us, because there shouldn't be some who can and some who can't. It wouldn't be on our end. If all of you couldn't, then that would be on our end. But I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Lady Gwen. And you guys are praising God with Kim. Yeah, and Miss Phyllis and Edward. Okay, Lisa said she can see and hear us, so something's going on. She got it now. Okay, hope you guys figure out what's going on your side. Hey, Sister Sharon.
Good to hear from you.
yeah, yeah. Sinette says jump to Facebook. Well, wherever you're in, jump to the next one. Jump to YouTube or jump to Facebook, one or the other. Okay. Yeah, let's see who else is. Great. I'm glad you guys can see us. All right. Good, 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 good. Okay. Well, let's settle in here. Let's do our affirmation meditation, whatever you want to call it, prayer to center us in. And of course, baby girl's sitting here on the side waiting for her pieces of chicken. So I'm going to give her one just to get her started here so she won't bug us. She's not going to bug me. She'll bug Pastor. She'll get up and come over there and mess with you, won't she? Yeah, she will. She knows how to get you. Anyway, this is called Abandon. We've done it before. And their sister Chris just came in. Hey, sweetie pie, how you doing? And thank you for the gift you sent. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, Sister Chris had been having some physical challenges, and I'm so grateful to God for bringing her to a place of being able to feel okay and be okay. When, I tell you, it really gets to you when you start to see something happening to those people that you love. But we're just grateful. We're grateful. All right. I want you to center in. You can either say this after me or you can simply listen, whichever is best for you. Okay. And it's called abandon. We're going to abandon ourselves right now. I stand without covering in the rain of God's love, without defense. I am experiencing absolute acceptance and freedom from having to perform. I fearlessly face the truth about myself and God. I truthfully examine all theories and open my mind to other possibilities. My eye is single, and the lens of conditioning is being removed. I'm beginning to see everything as it really is, without the filter of human perception. I'm comfortable with being who I am at this moment. I'm experiencing the peace that goes beyond my mind. I fully open my heart to the love of God in reckless abandon and devotion. I have found grace to endure and accept what is without complaining. Everything that happens is supposed to happen for my evolution. All that I need flows to me from the abundance of the universe. I surrender and give to God all that I am afraid to lose. There is no thing that is hopeless. For there is an abundance of mercy for everyone. God is always with me, watching over me, and in me. I have no need of evidence. I allow myself to be vulnerable so that I may be possessed by love. I am filled with the consciousness of Christ. And so it is. And so it is. All right. I'm glad you guys can see and hear and see us clearly now. Thank God for that. Leslie came in. Hey, Leslie.
Leslie, well, thank you for the mail.
Yes, darling.
I've been
Thank
intending
you.
to call you, but I hadn't got to it yet. I'll talk to you eventually.
Yeah.
But we thank you for the card, and I put it in there with the rest of the cards in my closet. So when I go in there,
you need to take this one too. This is Sister Chris's card.
Yeah, I'll take Sister
Take
Chris'
that with
card.
you too.
All of these cards that you send in the mail to me, they are stacked up, and I keep them in there for special
to pray
presents
with. Yeah,
to
pray with
and
you.
believe me, they go in the closet with me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, Pastor. And there's Deb came in. Hey, Deb, hope you're doing well, sweetheart. We missed you on Friday. I'm going to text you next time before he takes off. Leslie said you're welcome, Pastor. All right. What we got on our plate today, Pastor?
Well, I want to touch this thing of that was said, thinkest thou not that I can now, not now, or pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me. I can pray, I receive, I give me more than 12 legion of angels. I give me. Now here it is. He said, I and the Father are one. He that have seen me have seen him. That was not about working, talking like somebody, acting like somebody, dressing to fit the bill, or dressing to look like a bishop or a positionality. That he said has nothing to do with if I was saved or not saved. I'm going all the way back to my point. Try to open the mind. If you can't, it's okay. It will eventually open. It's impossible for us to give birth from inside our bodies without it being God's ability. The God kind of potential from day one, if there ever was a one. And we read it in the book of Psalms where he said, and before the fountains were formed, I stood beside him. We stood with him. Before you were formed in the belly, you were known. You existed. You existed as eternalness. We all existed. Now we're here into a world, a story, or a place, whatever you want to call it. God is no more, no less real or unreal than what he's always been. I don't claim to be an expert, but I do claim to be able to talk to you from my personal references of 54 years of investigating what I'm talking about. I used to think that God was not in a person unless they got saved and received the Holy Spirit. That is the cliche. That is the notion of brick and mortar and religion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, also in my research, I began to watch and observe the different experiences of near death. Some of them are pre made, some of them are fake, some of them are real. I do not go into anything trying to find out whether it is scripture or not,
Mm-hmm.
because I've come to a place to understand that this whole thing is a setup.
Yeah.
It is a setup.
Yeah.
We are the fullness of God. I wrote in my note here, we are the movement of God, and He is our movement, and we
Mm-hmm.
are His
Mm-hmm.
movement.
Mm-hmm.
To come into this dimension, there had to be a degree of downgrading in order to
Or downsizing.
downsizing.
Yeah, I guess it's a
Yeah,
downgrading as well.
because, and then at the same time, we never lost anything. When I look back over,
And we can't lose because that was downsized is still God. It is still God.
I don't like, I
Or
don't,
the consciousness that is God.
what we have trouble with is we want, the church is designed and set up to always get something.
Yeah.
And we're now finding out that as you move forward into discovery,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you will discover and not find out, but discover that you've always been infinite and eternal, whether with the package or without the package.
And
Your
what
address, as for where God is, has never changed.
exactly. So I think in hearing these kinds of in these sessions that we do, we're hoping to remove your vertical relationship
Yeah,
with God this way.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't want your relationship to remain vertical.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and focusing your prayers this way. Um, but it has to at some point become a horizontal relationship where anyway want you to no longer direct all of your connecting with God vertically. And I hope that makes sense. Because this in order to live life fully and reach your full potential, not reach it, but to live out your potential and to have fulfillment in your life and find that peace and find that joy, there has to be more than a vertical relationship.
Mm-hmm. And this that we are breathing and exercising our lungs is our true essence functioning on a
Mm-hmm.
non-doing,
Mm-hmm.
struggling, no
Mm-hmm.
effortless.
Mm-hmm. And also not only hopefully to remove, not so much remove, but to transcend the vertical relationship, but to actually come to a place where you're no longer in an interception survival mode.
Mm-hmm,
In other
mm-hmm,
words, no longer expecting every challenge to be intervened, for God to intervene in every challenge that you have in life.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But to meet those challenges, knowing that God is here to, with all of the downloaded information, or I should say, downloaded impartation in you to get through whatever the challenges are.
Now that we hear this, there will always be in your ego
Mm.
the separated identity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
There will always be
Yeah.
in the separatist identity a demon, a devil, fear, and all of the things of the flesh that we read and talk about in the
Well,
scriptures.
you opened my eyes to something this week past. On
Mm-hmm.
Tuesday, you talked about it a little bit, and we've been talking a little bit here in the house about the conditionings and the belief that there are two powers. There are not two powers. There is only the power of God, and then what appears to be evil is the misuse of God's power.
Right. That's right.
Yes.
We repent every time we go back or go into oneness awareness. When we go into the actual reality of the heart of God is our true heart. Anything outside of that is egotistical, made up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my Lord speaks unto my Lord. And there's only one power in the universe, and that's him.
Yes.
But at the same time, this alternative ideal that God is somewhere else at another time in another place is a misplaced ego concept.
That's the misidentity.
That's the misidentity.
Yes.
The new birth experience is not a complete experience until one goes from there into seeing the fullness of God in true identity of being one with him. If you have seen me, you've seen the Father. Somebody said, well, he was God. Well, let's stop, honey, please. When you leave the body, and if you do it every night and sleep, you have this experience. I'm not trying to find out whether Jesus was a real sage. I'm not trying to find out was he a good prophet or a good old boy or the good old junior. I'm not trying to find out whether he's a good old junior Joe the plumber and all that. If he is Joe the plumber, which he is,
yes, he is.
I recognize him. When I'm talking to people, I'm standing looking at them. And some people I'm talking, I'm looking off. I look off to the side, to the right, left, and down, up. I'm assessing information, but at the same time, I'm putting my switch over into a place to see who it is standing in front of me that I found out that does not ever stop standing in front of all of us. Omnipotent, omnipresent, always have been, will always be. On our right, our left, our top, our bottom, our end and beginning, and never. It's something I had yesterday. It came to me about God does not talk with lips. He communicates with hips.
No, that didn't come from.
It came from Moses.
That came from
Moses. Then I want to see your face, Moses. Lord said, I can't show you my face, but I'll pass by you and let you look at my hips. And I ain't have to flap my lip, but just look at my hip, and then you'll go to trip. I couldn't stand to see anything else about God, Moses said, and live, but show me your hips, God, and I'll take it like it is. He's a rough man. I'll pass by you, and you shall see my hinder part. But at the same time, it said he spoke to God face to face. The face of God is your face facing each other. God will never stop facing his face as you.
And you remember, even in the scriptures, it said, no man can see my face and live. And live. So something, the moment you see God, something dies.
That's right.
Something that you believed yourself to be dies. And I don't mean physical death,
but it's automatic.
That you believed yourself to be all your life immediately is gone. It dies. And then you are left with finding out what you are as a God in the earth.
That's right.
And so there's the consciousness that is God that wakes up inside these bodies and realizes it's God in a body. And that's when a fearless me is born. And I read it to you earlier. A fearless me is born, but it's not a human me. It's not an earthly me. It's a divinity that's living as a human. And it's totally different from that vertical relationship that you have with God.
There is a judgment in the earth, and there has been an upheaval in our society, the schools,
Mm-hmm.
the children, the guns,
Mm-hmm.
and the fussing and argument in our government about what to do with it.
Yeah. Yesterday I went. Was it yesterday or Friday? One of them. I went to the store, and I was telling him that while in the store, someone had one of those large balloons that they purchase for birthdays and things like that, special events, and it burst, and it sounded like a gun, and everyone stopped in their tracks and immediately had the urgency to almost run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of what's the conditionings now
Mm-hmm.
of all of the shootings and things that have been in our country.
Fear.
The paranoia has hit us.
So here we go. Here we go. This power. Leslie, when I saw with expanded awareness, consciousness, knowing that Martin Luther King, all inventors, scientists, people who have done monumental discoveries in the sky, the planets, the ocean, the earth, the pyramids. When I saw the love that's in all of them being Christ the Lord, I had the ability to push all things to the side. And these men, even the ones of us that say Jesus was a good old boy, I began to look and I saw, Leslie, I even saw your friend, Leslie, and his essence at the council table with God in the heavens. And Jesus Christ, the Lord, does not have any problem with the love factor that is in every one of these leaders. Even our worst president or the best president, the one that we agree with being or not being connected to the dark side.
Mm-hmm.
In every one of them, there is a place where they meet God in the council room with no problem. He doesn't have any problem with them.
There's no schism at all.
No. And the judgment that we're seeing in the earth, here it is. It is misplaced identity using the same power of God to destroy each other, like Cain tried to kill Abel, if the story is correct, using that God ability to try to kill God, which is eternal, fighting the eternal. It don't work.
Right.
You can't wipe out spirit. You may send it somewhere else, or it may go somewhere else, believing that there is somewhere else to go other than inside, outside of God. But the truth of the matter is, there is a part of us, all of us. I don't care, baby come, baby go, sweetheart, prostitute, whore, whatever you want to call them, any Hollywood star from Beyonce down to your auntie. These people are still the essence of God and can never die.
True.
The only part that leaves is seemingly is the physical and some other parts. Now, I'm not making a platform out of this. I'm saying this because I see it. I know it. And there's no reason for me to stand up and take my Bible. I used to see people that work, they bring that Bible in there and they can quote it from rooter to tutor.
Yeah.
I didn't know then that there was something beyond a quotation. There's something beyond an argument. Raised in moonshine, I heard a lot of flashy talk about men. There were some people in the moonshine where I lived in that house. They could quote the Bible better than the Bible itself. After that, take a shot, get drunk, and slide down the wall. and get up the next morning and open the door. Before they left, they had to get a little shot to tune up a little bit so that hangover, them two people talking on their shoulder, could stop. And then they go on about the next journey, whatever they're going to do. I've seen some of them come by my house and stay there all day long talking to my uncle just to wait to see if he's going to give them a drink or somebody going to come in and offer a drink to them.
Hmm.
I didn't know, sweetheart, that the eternal God essence was standing there in them experiencing that alcohol
Mhm.
and never lose 1 ounce of eternalness.
True. True.
Come hell or high water. The reason why our government is going through what it is because of separation from each other.
Mm-hmm.
A separatist.
Yeah. Separatist mindset.
The young man that stood up with the bullhorn and was talking about something that was very important pertaining to children and school and guns, he came back and said, it wasn't about me trying to be seen. If that's the case, the person that came against him, he got what he was telling the boy he had. He was seen. Been better off if he had said nothing. But that don't work in an egotistical government world like what's going on now. And I'll tell you something else. You can forget about this thing of trying to have one world government based on Christianity. It don't work. It ain't gonna work because no one, if believers in the brick and mortar have not got to the place that if somebody could be the one who finally clicked it in place that the whole world government is Christian, that would be the same thing as the whole world government being the United States or Russia or some other place. And it'll never happen because that is a separatist percept. If we go to spirit, we'll understand that none of these cliches of these organizations are needed, but they're there to point us in a direction. Darkness and light will always be opposites and will always reveal each other.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're trying to make us turn a pig into a silk purse.
A sow into a silk purse, yeah.
Yeah.
Sow's ear into a silk purse.
What kind of ear?
A sow's ear, which is
a
a
sow's
pig's
ear and
into a silk purse.
Into a what?
Silk
A
purse.
silk purse. Okay. Okay. So rest in the knowing. Go to that place inside of you. Go ahead. Stop hesitating. Don't take your shoes off before you enter in the door. Go ahead on. Repent from trying to do something that you cannot do in your finite mind.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I want to kind of bring us back around to what kind of relationship we have had with God. And then there is the actual coming out into a wider place where there is no relationship with God, because that has a relationship with is the same as. And most of us started out, and I when I say most of us, I'm pretty much referring to those of us who started out in the Christian religion. We started out with deep devotion toward a God, and it was a vertical relationship. But at some point for me, it was my Jesus in me days. And I've said this before, when I began to realize God was here inside me, but it was still compartmentalized. There was still no real merging. There was still no real union, except in my thinking, knowing God was here in this locale, not way out there somewhere. Even though God is everywhere, I didn't relate to God out there. It was here in this particular locale, concentrated here. And that came through deep devotion and surrender and communion and prayer and all of those things. But at some point, there was there was the awakening to becoming a vessel or a channel or a portal for God to flow through. Still in my thinking, compartmentalized. I was me, God was He. God was an other inside me. And never really blending. There was no blending of me and God. And our favorite phrase was, it was God, not me. God did that and I didn't. And so it was a sense of trying to remain humble when anything was done through this portal, through this vessel. I tried to remain humble, even though my ego was inflated. And so it was happening. My consciousness of God and myself had to evolve, and it had to come beyond being a vessel, beyond being the creation of God, beyond being used of God. All of that I had to work through that and reconcile that, coming to a place where I realized that even in my most human moments, it was still the consciousness that God is that was living through this body. And finally coming to a point where there was the actual disappearance of a separate me. Even though the duality lives in my mind, there is the knowing that there is no duality, isn't it?
That's right.
The duality still lives in my mind, but there is a knowing that is deeper than what's in my mind. There is no other. God is no other, and that doesn't make me God Almighty, but it classifies me as the derivative of God, or the representing of God in this earth. So man is God manifest in this earth. And knowing that doesn't give you a halo. And this is the other thing we're coming into, the two of us, is what the power of God actually is. What the power of God actually is. For years, it has been this ability to do exploits. And now I'm realizing that the ability to navigate through this life without a supernatural intervention is power. The very union that we have, the union between man and God, is Christ. That is Christ. And Christ, and the scriptures tell us, Christ is the power of God.
I've been around a lot of preachers over the years. And I was looking at something I didn't quite understand. What I was seeing was the institutional control that they've had over people.
Yes.
Who were, I don't know what it was, Homo sapiens that decided to submit themselves to a style or a way of charisma presents itself across the floor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of preachers who use people to get what they want in the end, and to say, and the biggest ones that I've ever seen online and in the ministry, I've watched them for 40, 50 years. I don't have any judgment against them. I just know what they're doing, and everybody have their own place to do whatever they assigned to do. But I looked over the assignments of many assignments in the archives, and look at different contracts that we all have made. There is a a heap of contracts, a whole bunch of
A
contracts,
heap and a whole
a
bunch.
heap and a whole bunch of contracts that we made in the eons of eternity. And the experiences that we've had in our sacred scripts was burned and stamped into us like a cattle a farmer would brand a cow or a horse or whatever. That is burned into the heart of God, our assignments. So eventually, all of you, maybe not this round, but maybe another round, you're going to find out pieces of what that contract is visibly. But in the meantime, back at the ranch, you may not see it now because you may be adjusted to just the King James Version or the Catholic Version or all the religious version. Remember this: God does not have any problem with any of these versions from the heart point. Look beyond the five senses. Look beyond the organization. Look beyond the business that they are in, and go to the heart of them. The heart of Jesus, when I saw it, was exactly the same heart in every last one of us.
Yeah.
And it did not change because one was born in Africa, in the low class of the slums that you can live in. These people out on the street don't have no place to stay. These people out on the street that are out in the rain and they tents and they sleep on the bridges and things like that. That is still Christ in a different way. But I look at this, and maybe there's some people out there that the more you help them, the less they'll come out of it.
Yeah.
There are some people that are in places around in cities and towns and Detroit and North Carolina and different places. They don't have clothes to wear. They take a bath. They go into a restroom in a service station, if at all. They don't have anything to wash their face. There are kids that are running around in the street with no shoes to wear, and they have no place to stay. I look at the animals that people put out on the side of the road. Somebody threw a dog in a net basket out in the waters in the lake or ocean, and somebody was out there and found the dog inside the net and pulled the dog out and saved his life. It was about gone. Then I saw another mama puppy was protecting her baby and was waiting on the side of the road for somebody to come by and help it. These things are registered in the Christ, and God is very much more than aware of it. He is it. He's there. I don't understand the mystery behind it, but here's another mystery I don't understand. We got some of the biggest organizations in the world that are firing 80, 800, 8,000 people.
And that's in our country.
That's in our country.
Yeah, and there's some
Maybe
who are
not.
who are listening are not
The
in our
streets
country.
are crowded with
yeah.
people, and they won't work. Some want to work and can't. And yet we have a government that's constantly fighting about the borders, who could come in, who could not. I mean, these people who use their monies and finances and power to get in a airplane or a ship and go to the moon. If they might be helping some, I don't know. But I look at this thing and I can feel the heart of God. I can feel the heart of God when I go across an intersection and I see a homeless person crossing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then one of them stepped out in front of me when I was going to Greensboro in the Jeep, and another truck was sitting beside me. He started to pull off, and I was kind of a little bit back. And when I got ready to mash the gas on my Jeep, and it was in that it was in a super gear, it jumped. And when it jumped, I hit the brake just in time to cut the RPM back on it. to keep from running over him, and he threw his hand up. And I looked at him. I have something upstairs that I'm waiting to give to one of them when I see him. It's a big old box of pennies and monies. Ain't no telling how much it is. It's heavy in a box. I've been intending to put it in my Jeep and ride it around with me and wait till I see the one that is the picture I have and stop and give it to him.
Mm.
I'm not asking him to use it to buy food. I'm not asking him to don't use it for drugs. I'm not asking him to take it and squander it around and mess it up. That's his business. I want to let Christ in him see that I recognize who he is in this person.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of time that I could just pick it up and take it to a restaurant and give it to somebody there, but that's not what I see. I asked a person one time when I was in a restaurant. I said, "How you doing?" He said, "Fine." I said, "I see where you having some problem with your light bill." I said, "If you bring me the light bill, the bill, and what it is you owe, if you're behind," I said, "I'll take care of that. I'll cover that for you." They did. And that was the end of it. I went in a restaurant one time and there was a lady waiting on us. I always ask some of them, I said, "What is the most somebody ever gave you for a tip?" They may say, "I wish I could give one of them $1,000 and get up and walk out." But when I do stuff like that, I have to tell them, "Please don't tell anybody that I did this, because I don't want a circle around my table. I came here to eat, but I also came here to give you this." And I said, "Don't mess with it until I leave." Well, we got outside the door. It was too late. They ran out the door.
Yeah, I've got a few comments if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Sister Chris had said way back before you started talking, "I fearlessly face the truth about myself and God." And Sinette just said something. She said the idea of separation is on all levels, and we co-create the world from that viewpoint. That means that when we awaken to ourselves, we start to notice the hundreds of good deeds and the truth of love in everyone, no matter the role we play so hard in the separation game.
Big heart.
Yeah.
That's a big heart saying.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. You said all of that to say,
I see God, and God is in him. I want to see more of him. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that looks at it like this, but I see it. Every one of you guys that are listening to us, we might be redundant in some things, but I want you to know you are a special gift of God to us, as well as we are to others.
And to each other.
And to each
other.
other. I don't know of anything else to say to you guys out there. You can have a vision or dream and see this and see that on the other side. It all going to go back to one thing. Do you see God? And I'm not talking about seeing a God on a religious basis. I'm talking about seeing God on a 24/7 basis, in everyday life.
In life, yes, in life.
I mean, to see him
in life and as your life, not separate, and not there shouldn't be a sacred life and a secular life. It is all one life, and it is the God life. When we become aware of the consciousness that God is in these bodies, and that doesn't, like you said, it isn't a religious experience.
All cars have wheels, unless they got these air cars. All trucks have tires on them. All trains have wheels. All bicycles have round wheels unless they don't went square. The only time a bicycle will go on a square tire is when that joker throw you off of it. When you hit something,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
went square.
yeah, yeah.
Um, when I was a little boy in the moonshine, a man sat down with me in the living room and asked me would I teach him how to read. He
Mm.
didn't know at the time that I couldn't read. I was about 6, maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Really?
Yeah,
You were really young.
yeah. And he sat down. He said, "I want you to teach me how to read." I didn't know how to read either, and I had to happen again. And when I got in school in the first, second, third grade, somebody did the same thing. I didn't know how, but
What you said something this morning. You said that you heard this,
oh yeah.
or what was it you heard?
Well, somewhere this morning and waking up,
Because I have a reason for asking you that, so I want you to tell me quickly.
um,
Don't give me a long story.
okay, it was about rain. It was about water,
It was
and I
about
was on.
children.
Yeah, well, okay, and the earth was upset because of the streams and floods that were coming. And I was standing in the midst of a crowd of people, kind of like what you were at the store yesterday. And I looked around, and there came a little boy that was busting through the crowd to get to me.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw him, I knew him. I knew he was coming because my hindsight could see him.
Uh-huh.
And he ran up to me, and I turned and I opened my arms up to him, and he run in my arms, and I hugged him, and with tears I picked him up and hugged him and loved him, and that is burned into my memory.
Yeah, but you said you heard Spirit of God say something to you about suffering the little children.
Yeah. This is what happened. Suffer the little children to come unto me, for such is the kingdom of God.
And I have a reason for asking you
Okay.
to talk about that. What you were seeing was those of us who have lost we've lost our innocence,
Mm-hmm.
and it says the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God is like a child.
Yeah.
It's like a child.
Yeah.
And you have to become as a little child.
Yeah.
That means dare to go back to the open, exposed heart
Mm-hmm.
that you had as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and embrace the vulnerability.
Okay.
Yeah. Embrace
Okay.
the vulnerability.
At the moment, I recognize who that child was, but I'm looking. I know who the child was. I saw him. I've seen him.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting.
But it's not important who the
No.
child was.
Yeah.
It's the fact that we're all going back to that open and exposed heart that we had before we lost our innocence. And the loss of innocence was before all of the conditions that we lived under began to harden us and make us more self-defensive and all of those things. So it's about getting back to that open vulnerability and not being afraid to be that.
That's right.
And not being afraid to be that.
I've had that to happen in stores where children, they look at you and they'll watch and they'll look and I've had it happen and they turn and walk up to me, or sometimes I walk up to them and look at them.
Yeah.
But it's something about this experience that I had last night, that when I hugged the little boy.
Well, I understand it. That's why I asked you to repeat it, because
he said, "Suffer the little children to come unto me."
It's a symbol to you.
Yeah, it is.
It was a symbol. Yes, of coming into that place of an open, exposed heart and vulnerability, and not being afraid to be that in this world where things are so threatening. And I understand how people can become very, very protective and very defensive, and so it'll be okay to be vulnerable.
And then when I hugged you upstairs and we stood there and you sat there,
yeah, we had a love moment. That's true.
And
That's true.
I just sat there and I said, well, I just stay here a while and just hug you and hold you.
Sometimes, and I remember Sister Chris saying this when we were in the brick and the mortar, and I can see the purpose of the brick and mortar was for this thing that we're talking about. Sometimes you come, you just need a hug.
That's all.
You just need a hug. And
people say when they hug Jesus, when they's in a near-death experience, said everything that he was went in them, and everything in them went into him.
And that sometimes all you really need is a hug.
And that's all it was. His presence, it being this.
So I would love for those of you who are local to come on by. We'll give you a hug. We'll give you a hug.
Yeah. Just line up at the front door. I'll just hug you and just love you. And we thank you so much for the gift of beingness.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Somebody actually, do you have any more of the books?
The Secret Place.
On the Secret Place.
We might have them somewhere stuck in a box.
I have a box back there somewhere. You have to come by sometime.
Yeah.
I'll go back there in the back and I'll autograph one for you, right? Where you are. I believe they're still back there.
She probably is wanting something different because she probably has that already.
Yeah.
But we don't have any others yet.
We do have that particular one, the Secret Place.
We've got so many written things in our journals.
Hey,
Lisa,
these notes and things here, Miss Trish was before she left from the ministry. She came back. She did some kind of thing.
She had some of them
transcribed for a book, and I hadn't gotten around to it. But I have had 2 books, and one of them was The Secret Place and A Stone Cast Further.
Now, Jill said she thinks that fear blocks us from being vulnerable. It definitely does. Yes, it does. And I'm not talking about being a doormat and opening yourself up for people to harm you, but I am saying that in your personal relationships, don't be afraid to allow yourself to show the emotion, to feel deeply, the one thing that I do believe that Jesus, as a person and as a being, was on this earth, was one who was not afraid to relate to people. And when you're not trying to put forth an image and trying to impress, you are vulnerable at that point. You are vulnerable. Now, Jill also says that we have a picnic coming up in 3 months. Exactly. We're planning a local picnic. We are. And I found out about it. But yes, but I would love for you guys, if you want to come by just for a hug, not have to stay all day or anything like that. We'd love to see you and hug you. We do see some of you. Dee Dee and George come by once in a while. Vern spent some time with us one day, and then there's a lot of you. Sandra came by and spent a little time with us, and we love seeing you, and we love spending time with you. But we just want to see you once in a while and give you a hug, okay? You don't have to do anything else. And in the meantime, we'll be back on Tuesday,
live and in color.
I want you to give. I thank you for your gifts. A lot of you responded and gave something last week based on what Pastor was saying. And thank you so much. Thank you, Judy Jew. We love you too, baby. We love you. We wish we could get to hug you too, and hug Sinette and all of you guys who are far off from us. And CJ, I saw you come in, so I'm glad you're here today.
You made it.
So if you want to give to Cornerstone, you can do it really, really easy by going to the website, which is the cornerstonelifecenter.com, or you can just text CLC Greensboro to 73256 or paypal.me/cornerstone35. And if you don't want to do it that way, you can always mail it, P.O. Box 36259, Greensboro, North Carolina, 27416. And by the way, if you send a card to that post office box, Laverne will make sure that we get it, and Pastor can put the card in the prayer closet.
Take it with me.
And stay there. That's his prayer list.
That's his
prayer list. Yeah. And if you
want, I had thought about taking a few of them and put them in my car, put them in my pocket, just walk around with them in my pocket.
Well, yeah.
Just let it soak up the presence of God.
You kind of look funny putting a lot of cards to you, but
well,
I remember back in the brick and mortar, he would wear a beautiful white shirt to service, and he said one day, go get me the scissors right there in the middle of the service, and he started cutting pieces of cloth off of his
Pull
shirt
my shirt till out and use
giving
them.
it to people
Yeah.
for prayer, to have
Yeah.
the presence of God in their prayer, which we know that you also have that same presence in your clothes.
Oh, Jesus.
And-
You just
and-
touched my heart.
Yeah.
Mm.
So those shirts, he cut them up and went home with a raggedy shirt.
Yeah, I sure did. I didn't cut it all the way off to where I didn't have nothing
No,
on,
but the bottom of it was
bottom of it was
gone.
ragged as a can of kraut. And I want you to know that I take you personal.
Yeah.
I take you personal, and I take you as the flowing, eternal blood of Jesus flowing in our veins.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Brother Blue said, great service today.
Thank you
Brother
very
Blue.
much.
Thank you so much.
You enjoy your day. It's just a good day now.
It is a good
It's
day.
a good day for singing a song. It's a good day for walking along.
That's a song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Marvita. We thank you for that, sweetheart. And we will get back with you about that. I'm not sure whether we're going to do anything. We don't want to have a whole lot of projects, but we might get back with you on that.
And when you're singing a song, they said, then you'll be bobbing along.
Pastor and I are trying to live a more simple life, not a more busy life or a complicated life. So I'll get back to you, Marita, about that.
Finally got to where we could see Christ without any struggle.
Yes. Jay Hairston. Do I know you?
Jay Hairston. Where you Hairston.
At? Yeah.
Jay Hairston.
Thank you.
Dr. Hairston. Oh, yeah.
Bishop I remember Jay Hugh was here with us last week.
Jay Hugh?
Yeah, Jay Hugh was here with us last week.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Anyway, we'll be back Tuesday night, and we love you guys so much.
Don't take no wooden nickels.
Continue to pray with Kim. She's still going back to the doctor. They got to do some more things with her, run some more tests and all of that. But she's out of the woods for the cancer. Thank God. Thank God.
You know, I remember some good times we had in Milwaukee with Pastor Hill.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is Jay Who.
Yeah, that's Jay Jr. Jay.
Jay Hugh. Thank you for tuning in.
Tell your daddy I said hello.
Thanks for tuning in, young man.
And hey, tell your daddy Jay that he sure know how to make good product.
We'll be back Tuesday night, and we love you guys. See you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.